Hey, everybody watching at home. It's David Gordon from TheaterMania. Friday, April 24th. We made it to the end of another White Knuckle week here. Here with Sarah Steele from The Good Fight, which is on season 4, CBS All Access, streaming now every week, except this week, but there will be another one next week.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you, David?
I'm good, thank you. How are you holding up with all of this that's going on?
I'm okay. I live with like a really just extremely lovely friend from college.
Oh, good.
So she and I are hanging out a lot. We've got 2 cats.
So do
Watch
we.
a lot of movies. I do a lot of home workouts.
I'm doing.
Way more than I've ever cooked in my entire life.
Have you made bread yet?
No.
Yeah.
It's like become too much of a cliche.
Yeah. What are you cooking?
Well, it's funny. I've been joking with my friends because, like, back when like it mattered, I felt that it mattered what my body looked like. I have the Whole30 cookbook, and that's the cookbook I have. And now I'm a bit like, I kind of wish I had a more fun cookbook because there's really no reason I have to be on the Whole30 right now. But I make like much healthier meals than I think I would if I had another cookbook.
Well, that's good. What movies are you watching?
It's funny. At first we kind of like, I feel like we felt that we needed to get like all of the 90s rom-com out of the way. So that we just revisited all of those. So we watched like 10 Things I Hate About You. We watched She's All That again.
Oh, I haven't seen that one in a minute.
No, it's messed up. It's messed up. We really were talking about it. We were like, wow, we totally grew up with all of these movies where a boy is like paid to take, like either paid or because of a bet has to like take out the dorky girl in school and make her over and that's what we were hoping for. It's just like so sad.
I feel like that's the plot of every 90s sitcom too, or at least some version of every 90s sitcom.
It's really, it's like weird. And it's like, if that were to actually happen to you in high school, like if I found out that someone I was seeing was like, it was a bet or they were being paid, like I think that would be unforgivable. I wouldn't be like,
totally.
Oh, you really fell for me? Like,
right.
Fuck me.
You'd be like, goodbye, see ya.
You're like, fuck you.
Right.
I'm not for something, but yeah.
We'll bleep that in post. There it is. There's no post. If you have questions for Sarah about The Good Fight, The Humans, anything else you can think of, pop them in the comments.
Oh, I guess
get to them. So, Good Fight, season 4.
Yeah.
2 episodes have aired. The new one is on this coming Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. When did you guys start shooting? How were you affected at all by what's going on now?
Definitely. I mean, we started in November.
Mm-hmm.
We shot up until about a little over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we shut down. So
how long does it take to shoot the average episode of that show, and how does it compare? Because I feel like the episodes, because they're on All Access, which is the streaming service, are slightly longer than The Good Wife, which was on network TV and had to adhere to the like 42-minute thing.
Yeah, they are like ever so slightly longer, but that doesn't really change, I don't think, like how we shoot. Every episode takes about like a week and a half to 2 weeks, and we'll usually start the next one. We'll do like 1 or 2 like double unit days where we have to going with 2 different episodes. Those are pretty
Do you know how many you got through before you shut down, or do you know how many were left?
What?
Do you know how many were left before you guys shut down?
About 3.
Oh, so you got through a relatively season.
Yeah.
How did you get the job as Marissa on The Good Wife to begin with? Was it just like a regular audition?
Totally. And you know what? It's so hilarious. It's really one of those life moments that like you have no idea what you're walking into right now and how huge this is going to be in your life. it really was like I was on, I think, spring break. I was still in college. I was still at Columbia. I think I was a sophomore. And it actually was a moment when I was feeling quite disenchanted with show business. And I was really trying to consider if I wanted to go into something else. But honestly, I was still just using it as like a kind of like easy money
Yeah.
to pay for like summer courses I wanted to take and stuff. So I auditioned. So it was like totally that thing that now that I'm like out and I'm an actor, I'm like, and I'm a full-time actor, like I wish that I could recapture this. I just walked into that room like, and I did not care. I was like, whatever, you know, and I think I kind of had that attitude, and that attitude ended up being kind of perfect for Marissa to just, you know, I wasn't obnoxious, but I just was scared. I had no like nerves of any kind. Because I wasn't sure if I still wanted to do it. And then again, it was supposed to be like a 2-episode arc, so I could sort of fit it in around school quite easily. I did those 2 episodes. And then it really wasn't until, so that was in season 2 of The Good Wife. And then in season 6 of The Good Wife, I was out of school. I was a full-time actress. And they sort of, I think they saw me in the country house and then decided to.
Oh, the country house.
Or they just decided. I don't know.
Yeah.
If those are related, but yeah, they brought me back in season 6, and then now it's like been so many years of my life that I've been playing this character and working this
looking back when you were like coming in for season 2.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're playing Alan Cumming's daughter, at least in The Good Wife, did you think you looked like Alan Cumming? Do you see any sort of resemblance there? Did they really like go for that, or do you think that's a terrible question?
No, it's not a terrible question at all. It's funny. I think it's a much more energetic thing than it is like a look thing. Like I think there is something with me and Alan that, you know, I'll never forget in season 6, we were both in plays at the same time. So it was this funny thing where like they had to shoot both of us out by 4:30 so that we could make it to our show.
That's funny.
Because like, he was doing, I think, cabaret, and I was doing the country house. And so it was like, it was just this funny thing where it's like, of course, these people that are playing father and daughter are like also just sharing a van to like go do their plays.
Yeah.
It just was funny.
How much input did you have on the arc of the character once the good fight started?
I guess I don't know if input feels like the right word. They a couple of seasons, not all of them, but a couple of seasons, they would have us come in at the beginning of the season and meet with the writers' room.
Oh, interesting.
And I loved doing that. Because the writers would ask, because we really didn't get to interact with them very much. It's really like they do their work and then we get the finished product. And getting to talk to them, they had such interesting questions for me about how I thought about Marissa. And I remember, I think that season was kind of like my favorite arc that I got to do, was when they asked me, like, what do you want to do as this character? And like, what do you think would really rattle her? Like, and I answered those questions, and they really incorporated actually a lot of that stuff. And I don't know if that's continued that tradition, because we felt like we had too much input. I don't know. But
it's really cool though.
It was great. It was very cool. But I've always felt that it was a collaborative process. I mean, I think especially when, like, for instance, when Robert King like directs that episode, plenty of times I've made some joke during rehearsal and he's been like, "Oh, put that in. That's fine." So yeah.
How cool is it to work with like Baranski and Audra and Kush and everybody? It looks like, I mean, based on that video that they released last week of everybody talking about why there's no episode this week and then everybody just starting to sing.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys just have a ball doing this.
We have a lot of fun. I mean, I think the other thing is, like, obviously, like, working with Titans like Christine Baranski and Audra McDonald is, I really just feel like I've learned so much from watching them and watching, every tiny little scene that she has to do, Christine is just like, she just never phones it in. Like, she's just not capable of phoning it in. Like, it'll be 5 a.m. All she has to do is like walk across the hall and say one thing, and like she just walks on set, and there's a level of like commitment and focus. And I'm like, all right, I have to, like, yeah. I have great respect and admiration for both of those ladies and how they work. But also, it's amazing. It's like sort of like we have a base of those actors, and then all of our guests are all legends. Like, it's like Margot Martindale.
You love character actress.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. Everyone.
Yeah. What's Marissa's arc for this season, or what can you tell us without giving away spoilers for episodes that haven't aired yet?
Well, partly, like, she develops sort of a confusing-ish relationship with Hugh Dancy's character on this season, and that was really fun. And then, what else can I say?
Yeah, I know. It's hard with all of these shows where everything's a spoiler.
Yeah, totally. But there's this season is really about the corporate takeover of the firm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting that there's this whole other hierarchy happening of like, it's not just like, this is the world and Bozeman and Liz are like at the top. It's like those people have been taken over by like overlords that are now above them. So it's really like a very brilliant, like the whole world is just shifted now.
That's interesting. I can't wait to see more episodes of it. I can't wait till it airs.
Yeah. And there's some really interesting stuff with her and Luca's friendship.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Love Kush Jumbo.
I know. Amazing.
What were you shooting earlier seasons when you were doing The Humans? Like, was there overlap?
Shooting season 1 while I was doing The Humans, yeah.
How?
I will never do that again.
I was going to say, tell me all about that.
A TV show at the same time again.
Tell me all about that, because The Humans, you think, The Humans was like an hour and 45 minutes. So you think like, okay, it's short, and now I can, at least on the lay people would think that.
You would think that, and that's what I thought. But you know what? It honestly, and we're on TheaterMania, so seems, appropriate to say, it made me have so much more like respect for for how much energy my theater work takes. Like, you need to rest all day when you do 2 shows a week. I think like I used to be kind of, I'm pretty type A, and I think I used to be like, oh gosh, I have this whole day before I have to do the show tonight, and I just waste it. I just like work out and like lounge around, and then doing those 2 jobs at once, I went so crazy. I got like too thin. I was just an emotional, like anxious wreck. Donald Trump had just been elected. Like it was like, it truly should have been like a time that I was so excited about my life. And it was one of the hardest like chapters of my life. I just was so sleep-deprived, so anxious. Like, yeah, it was way too much. I way over.
And I can't imagine The Humans was a particularly easy show to do.
No, I mean, that's the thing about The Humans. It's like you're shot out of a cannon.
Right.
And you're on stage the whole, it's like, yes, the show's an hour 45, but you're on stage the whole time. My character was in a very anxious place. It's a very like difficult, deep show to have to do. And again, I really feel like the lesson was like, no, Sarah, you needed to be like resting when you couldn't do another job, even if you technically could hours wise. Like, that was crazy.
Can I ask you an awful question and ask if you or anybody else ever fell going up or down that spiral staircase so there was a spiral staircase on the set of The Humans, because The Humans is set in a duplex in Chinatown, and there was a spiral staircase that was connecting like a basement floor to an upper floor, and the characters would just run up and down.
We never fell. One time, I believe Jane tripped up the stairs, but it wasn't disastrous. What was harder for us than that, which you probably wouldn't think of watching the show, is that up on that top level,
Mm-hmm.
you watch it and it just looks like, oh, they're on the top floor.
Right.
But like, we're up there. If we fall, we would definitely break something.
Yeah, that's high.
Joe Mantello would be like, you guys really need to be closer to the edge. We can't see you if you're that far back. And just for the first like few weeks of previews, I remember all of us being like,
yeah, I can just imagine Reed Birney just standing there, just being like,
yeah, and it was like this hilarious thing happened with Reed where like there are these noises happening in the ceiling, and he's supposed to be looking up there and like trying to figure out what it was and walking forward at the same time. So we had to like walk forward looking up when there's a drop off like right in front of him. That was hard.
And there was no like security thing blocking it.
Nothing. And Lauren was in a wheelchair.
Right.
So it was like, if we don't lock that wheelchair, and there would be a few times that we would roll her out, we would forget to lock it. I can't imagine. Yeah.
I love that play.
So good. Oh God.
That play is so good.
I really miss it.
Was that the longest run you ever did?
That was the longest I've done. Yeah, because we also did it in LA and then in London.
What was it like in London? Because I can imagine London audiences either being really receptive to it or just like being like, what is this American thing that we're watching right now?
You know, it's funny. It felt to us like the latter because they are really not nearly as responsive.
Mm-hmm.
The laughs were like, felt just like tiny, like a drip of a faucet. Like, so like compared to like America where it was like mistress, you know. But they loved it. And, you know, I ended up once I got used to the fact that we weren't going to get nearly the laughs or the response
Mm-hmm.
that we got in America, I preferred doing it there because the play has so many amazing little details that the American audiences I think would sometimes miss because of their response. That something about how quiet London was lovely.
Did you have any? So that London was like the tail end of your guys doing it.
Oh, and it was also the smallest space we ever did it in. That was the thing I think that was so great.
What did you have any like last minute character revelations that you were like, oh my God, this is the last time we're going to do this, and now I finally figured out something?
100%. I mean, once we started doing it in LA, I really was like, oof, wish I could go back to Broadway. Like, there's so much more that I understand this time. Because there was also like a year and a half between the two runs.
Right.
So I was just a year and a half older and wiser and I just understood more about the play. Like, I remember reading it again when we were getting prepped to do it in LA and being like, oh, I missed so much the first time. Like, how did I not see I don't know. Yeah.
I'm still convinced that they were haunted. Like, I'm still convinced that apartment was haunted, and that's what that last scene was. And I know it wasn't that, but I'm still convinced it was that.
It was that for you, so it was that. Like,
yeah. That play was cool. Joe Mantello is a genius. Stephen Karam's a genius.
I mean, yeah, 2D, 100% 2D.
Yeah.
Jane's genius, Reed's genius, Cassie's like, it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that group.
I know.
Do you talk to them? Are you still do you still keep in touch? Well, you've worked with so many of them in the past, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but also it really was. We really did sort of become a family.
Yeah. Eating dinner together that long.
Yeah.
What terrible food were they serving you on stage?
What type of food?
Yeah, like what? Because I only remember interviewing Reed and Jane, and they're talking about how much they disliked the food.
It was tough. I mean, it's funny. Like, when I'm on stage, it's not the first time I've had to eat on stage, and I like truly don't taste it. Like, it's like it goes. I don't know. I do remember thinking it was crazy that anyone was eating the meat. I am a meat eater. I'm not a vegetarian, but I just was like, somehow putting meat in my mouth on stage seems like I would just never do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it also just looked gross, and I was just like, why are we eating this? Yeah.
Do you have a favorite play that you've done? Because you've done so many. I mean, you've done so many like off-Broadway things that run for like the nonprofit run of 2 months, one and done.
Yeah. Do I have a favorite? I mean, there was something. I mean, wow, they're all so dear to me, but there was something about doing Slow Girl.
Oh, Slow Girl.
And I feel like I'm like, I don't know if that is ever going to come around for me again. Like a two-hander,
Right.
with Željko Ivanic.
Inaugurating a new theater.
What?
Inaugurating a new theater.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just think I'm so lucky that I got to do that, and truly, like, Željko and Greg Pierce and Annie Kaufman are very much like a second family to me now.
I have Greg Pierce's uncle on the show on Monday.
Oh, wow.
Doing that on Monday. What do you watch Good Fight? Like, do you watch the stuff that you've been?
Oh yeah. My roommate and I turn it on. Yeah, my roommate actually said something super funny the other day. Where now we're watching Little Fires Everywhere, and I never would have thought of this, but the opening credits, she was like, "I feel like they ripped this opening credit off of your life." I was like, "It's kind of genius. They kind of did." I'm sure they didn't even think of it, but yeah.
So you don't have a problem like watching yourself on TV?
I definitely do.
Do you like sit there when you come on and you're like,
yeah, I'm just, you know what it is? It's like, I hate to say this and it feels so superficial. Like, I feel like at least the first watch, I'm literally only thinking about how I look. Like, couldn't care. I'm like, it's like I don't care if the performance is good. I'm literally like, my hair, it's like all just these superficial judgments that are so lame. But yeah, I mean, I don't like watching myself, but I want to see everyone else's work, and I want to see the show, so I'm gonna suffer through it. Sure.
It's a fun show. It's
so fun, and it's so weird, and it gets increasingly weird every season. And
I like how it leans into that.
Yeah.
Like so many things you wouldn't think lean into stuff like that, but this really just goes for it.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's just so fun to see everyone else's work and to get to see. Again, I feel like I learned so much from like working with Audra and Christine, and then seeing what they've done. Like then like seeing it in performance, and the difference between how it feels when I'm in the room with them and how it feels on camera. And I felt that way about working with Catherine Keener too. I just was like, I just learned so much from watching these people.
Yeah. Sarah, thank you for your time.
Oh God, of course.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good Fight, CBS All Access, weekly on Thursday nights. Next episode drops next week. We are back here Monday, same bad time, same bad channel, 2:00 with David Hyde Pierce. I know. Have a good weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye.